Hello, we are talking about Pokemon again. Oh man. So I recently beat Pokemon Scarlet, and I wasn't sure if I was going to play this game, but more recently I'll talk about how I got into it. But I did beat it the other day, and I want to talk about I got a lot to talk about with this game, weirdly enough. I feel like I always have a lot to talk about with Pokemon games. I don't choose this life. The Pokemon games come to me, I swear. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be a more unscripted video for those of you who might be new to my channel. I've been making a lot of scripted videos recently, but I do these a lot. They're just kind of rambly, whatever. I don't want to write a script and edit this seriously, so use this as background noise or whatever you want to do with it. But this is just going to be my off the top of my head thoughts on Pokemon. I got a lot of thoughts about it. I think it's healthy to do this kind of thing. I know this is like totally like stupid, but like it's kind of healthy to talk about shit like this, like just completely you know, unscripted and rambly. I find it very healthy for myself, I think. And it helps me like understand my opinions on things a little bit easier or clearer, I guess. But yeah, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Point is, Pokemon Scarlet is bad. Wait, no, it's good? Wait, no, it's a mixed bag, obviously. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this video the good, the bad, and the ugly, because holy moly, there's a lot to talk about. And I do want to... It is truly a mixed bag, this game. It's a surprising amount of mixed feelings. Because, okay, let's get the whatever out of the way, the history. So I talked about this in my Pokemon Arceus video. If you haven't watched that, I did another rambling video about that game when it came out, and I loved that game, like way more than I anticipated. I had not really liked a Pokemon game since Pokemon Black and White, and that's like really the only one I genuinely like. I think the rest I'm like, they're okay. Like Pokemon's formula works, but they're just like not always for me. So it's been a while since I really thoroughly enjoyed a Pokemon game, and I did truly, very thoroughly enjoy Legends Arceus. It was amazing, almost. Like, I think it was one of my favorite games of this year, which is weird to think about that came out this year, but whatever. Yeah, it was one of my favorite games of this year. It really was so good. And if it isn't obvious, the new one is not as good as Arceus for a lot of reasons, but it's not bad. Like, I think there is a lot good. Okay, sorry. I had to, like, change the little Bob animation for my little thing. I was getting distracted by it. Anyway, what was I saying? God, this is already great. Yeah, I didn't love... spoilers, but I didn't love this game as much as Arceus, unfortunately. But there are a lot of good things to talk about, and we're going to start with that. We're going to start talking about the good stuff. So I'm not going to lie. So I was not interested in playing this game, especially after I had heard some stuff about it. I was like, okay, this is obviously taking steps in a direction I don't want to see Pokemon go in. And, you know, obviously the bugs and stuff, I was like, oh, well, this is just a, you know, very obvious problem that they're not addressing and yada yada. I was like kind of against it. So I didn't really want to play it, but my girlfriend bought it. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll try it on my Switch. And I did. And I like didn't put it down for like 3 hours. Well, the intro's, I'm going to talk about that. The intro's pretty rough, but I got past the intro and it opened up and I was like, yeah, it's cool. And then like I kept playing and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of like this. And then like 8 hours later, like an 8-hour play session later, I'm like, oh no, I'm like addicted to this. Like, damn it. I was thoroughly enjoying it, especially at that time. And then I was going to visit my parents for Thanksgiving. So like I was taking the train. So I was like, I want something to do. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy it. So I bought the game and I feel like a hypocrite because I was like very much against it for a while. But I don't regret it. It was fun. And it was kind of worth it. It kind of depends on who you ask, but I'll get into that too. But point is, it was addicting. I was into it, and I beat it in like a week. And I was having fun for like most of the time. I was having fun. It's the formula for Pokemon works so well because it's like, no, this is the open world Pokemon game. Like Arceus was like a test, and this was like, oh, this is entirely open. It is one big open world, which is cool. It's like, Breath of the Wild-esque. But it feels like a Pokemon world. It has like towns, it has gym leaders, it has an Elite Four and a champion and like a rival gang that you have to fight throughout the game. It's like Arceus was so different from Pokemon, which I liked, but this is like what I wanted to see. This is like Pokemon, but done in a different gameplay formula, and it worked pretty dang well. Like, exploring and finding Pokemon is fun, and, making your team, getting through the gym leaders and the Elite Four is cool. And it's pretty addicting to just explore the world and find items and, find new Pokemon. Especially for me, I'm not like super seasoned in Pokemon, so a lot of Pokemon are new to me. Like, I'm sure you could ask 90% of those Pokemon I saw in that game. I probably couldn't tell you what generation they're from or their names. For sure not their names. But even the generation, I'm like, is this guy new? No? Okay, he's from that generation? I have no idea. Like, I'm so bad at remembering them. The only ones I remember are like Gen 1 and I guess Gen 5. I know some Gen 2 Pokemon, and I guess I know some Gen 3 and 4. I probably know a little bit of everything, but most Pokemon I don't know. But it was fun. There was a lot to find and explore. And the way the game is paced, so the game has like, it's split up into like 3 different like quests, kind of like just long form quests that you do over the course of the game. There's like the champion thing where you fight the Elite Four and then you go to the champion or whatever, or fight the gym leaders and the Elite Four. Then there's a more unconventional like boss raid Pokemon quest line where you fight giant versions of Pokemon. And then there's the like rival gang story where you fight the Team Rocket-esque gang thing in this game. And you can do it in any order you want. I did it pretty like in line with each other. So like I'd do a gym, I'd do one of the Titans, I'd do one of the I don't know why I'm saying I was gonna word this video like, oh, this is for people who've played it, and I'm sure many people have played it. I don't have to explain this to you. But point is, I like that. I like that format. I think it works actually really well, and it gives you the freedom of doing anything in any order you want. There's a caveat to that, but I'll get to that. But point is, it's pretty cool, and like when you do finish everything, you get the end game, and the end game kind of is like all the stories that you were doing throughout the game kind of come together in the end, and it feels pretty cool. Like, I was pretty into it, and that's something actually about this game I was surprised about. The story is pretty dang good. It's not great. I think it's getting a little overhyped online. I keep seeing people say like, this is topped Black and White, and like, to each their own, but it has not topped Black and White to me. Like, this story is cute, but it's nothing like Black and White. Black and White has like cohesive theming with its character arcs and everything. It's really cool. This game is, again, it's cute. It's got a good story, not like a blow your mind story. Which I don't even think Black and White has a blow your mind story. It's just that was a breath of fresh air for Pokemon in my opinion. But yeah, the characters are pretty cute. I wasn't sure how to feel about like the rival girl, Nimona. I wasn't sure how to feel about her at first, but by the end I was pretty charmed by her character. It's actually a really neat idea that she's like the champion like immediately. She's like, oh yeah, I'm the champion. Like, you seem like you have like, the spirit of a Pokemon champion battle or whatever. So she's like in love with you because you're like the only one who like actually challenges her. And she loves the idea of having a rival. It's cute. It's like, I was like, oh god, this character is like annoying or just like weird, but I ended up liking her a lot. And even there's a guy, Arvin is his name, I think. You meet him and he has like a dog who's like sick, and he's pretty cool too. I was surprised, and his character is more engraved in the plot than I originally assumed, and it's pretty cool. He's a cool character. In terms of like the way they're doing rivals now is so strange, where it's like he's not really a rival character. There is a rival character, but you always have like companion characters too, I've noticed. I don't think anything will be as good as Black and White. The way they did it, I thought was really smart, and the way you have Bianca and Sharon, and then N is like your other rival, and it's like so well done. Oh man, this is not about Pokemon Black and White. Maybe I'll make a video about that one day. But yeah, overall, that I did like that a lot. I did like the characters a lot, and the ending is really good. I probably just won't spoil it for anyone who cares, but it's surprisingly character driven. Like right at the end. Like I said, when you beat all the quests, you get like the final part, and that final part is really cool. It's like way more interesting than I was thinking it was gonna be. It was weird. I was like, I just didn't expect that at all. But yeah, and the characters, the gym leaders are cute. The school stuff is pretty cute too. I really didn't engage with it during the game because I don't know. I was just like, I saw the option to like, you know, I don't know, like do the school activities, but I don't know. I thought it looked cute, but I was too into the normal game. I was like, I don't want to really waste my time with this, especially because I think I did one, and all I got was like a TM and some items or something, and I'm like, yeah, I get this is like giving me more information and giving me more character for the teachers, but yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't that into it. But I did like explore the school and talk to some of the characters, and it was cute. It's a fun addition to that game for sure. But I think the main draw is going to be like the open world. Maybe for some people it'll be the school, but I don't really care. They just kind of teach you about like general mechanics and stuff in the game. It's a cute idea, executed decently well, I will say. It's not like annoying. It's just dialogue. One thing that I guess this is just a nitpick. It's not like part of the bad section, but they do play the same music in the school, regardless of what you're doing. And it's annoying. It's just annoying. I don't like it. They could have easily had like a study music that played while you're in the class. And then while you're out of the class, it plays like the cheery school music. It doesn't even sound like school music, in my opinion. It's lame. You know, it's like Fire Emblem had like the school setting, and the song that plays while you're in the school of that game is excellent, like really good. It's one of my favorite songs in that game. And I just really don't like that song in Pokemon. I don't know why. They just play it too much too. Just too repetitive. But yeah, trying to think of anything else. It was decently hard, and the ability to do things in any order you want was neat, because there were instances where I felt like I sequence broke the game, like the pacing of the game, because the game is like do whatever you want, but it's like so specific, and it's like, well, this area is very much like over your level, like you're not supposed to be here yet, and you can like you know, get out of sequence, but there's also a caveat to that. But when you do it, it feels pretty good. And that is something that you just can't really do in some other Pokemon games. So when you do stuff out of order and you like get away with it, it's satisfying. But I will go into that in a minute because it's not all great. But yeah, Mount is fun to ride and fun to move around in. I wasn't sure about it at first, but over time I did really enjoy it. I think I even might enjoy moving around more than Arceus, which is weird. I didn't think I would say that. It really, the glide that you get eventually really helps and stuff. There's some fun nods to other Pokemon games and stuff like that, kind of just like cute stuff. The character models look cute. The character customization is really cute. I think the game looks nice for the most part. Stills of the game look pretty nice. The interiors look nice too. This is a nice look for Pokemon. I wasn't sure at first because it is pretty different when you like look at like this compared to Sword and Shield. The models are way different than they went for in that game. It's a whole different look. It's way less Ken Sugimori, which I'm okay with. I love Ken Sugimori, but I think Pokemon style, at some point they were like hiring new artists, but they were telling the artists do what Ken Sugimori does, and it's like, okay, but they're not Ken Sugimori, so it just kind of feels like this, you know, husk of that thing. Also, the music's good. I guess I should say that. Joichi Matsu, is that his name? Right? Am I saying that right? Yeah, he did great music. Toby Fox is in it too. There's some really good songs by Toby Fox. It's some cool shit. It's good songs. But yeah, Yeah, it's a direction for Pokemon I wouldn't mind continuing to, like, I wouldn't mind seeing again, but it needs to be refined a lot. And that's what I'm about to get into. So let's talk about the bad because, for like everything it does well, it annoyed me so much. Oh, before I get into that, another good thing, online multiplayer is pretty neat. There's also caveats to that too, which I'll get to in a minute. But the online is completely open, so you can just join some friends and just explore together. No like restrictions. You can do gyms while you're in a party. You can do whatever you want. You can't do it with them, but you can do it like adjacent to them, which I like. That's a great idea for multiplayer, and I've heard it's a way better idea than Sword and Shield had. So I'm into that. Also, yeah, if we're comparing like Sword and Shield to this game, they really did take the wild area, which I don't know the specifics of the wild area. I only saw it a little bit. They did take it and like turned up to 11, so that was a good thing they did with that. But anyway, let's get to some bad stuff because it's funny. Kind of, not really. It sucks. For one, I just want to get this out of the way right now. They've removed so much from Arceus, and it's the lamest thing in the world. So I am not of the believer that this game was made in a year. I think that's absurd to think about. You're gonna like, I think it's insane that people say that online. They look at this game that is a full video game. It's got a full open world. It's got a full, like 50-hour experience. That was made in a year? Like, no. Marketing takes like 6 months sometimes. Like, ESRB ratings take like months to get back to the game developers. That game's been done for probably quite a few months. Maybe like at the very least, because Nintendo probably has priority with ESRB and stuff, it's probably been done for like at least 3 or 4 months. At least, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they finished it a week ago. That would baffle me that like this game's like production did not start, like the actual production of the cartridges didn't start until like a month ago. That'd be weird. It definitely feels like a game that took a while to develop, maybe a few years. I don't know how the teams are split up. When I was looking at the credits, a lot of similar people worked on this from Arceus, but the main credit people are only a fraction of who works on these games. I think maybe they had a team work on Arceus like adjacent to Sword and Shield, or kind of get it started around in Sword and Shield's like DLC, and then after Sword and Shield's DLC was done, that's when they started working on this game, which in retrospect is not a lot of time. You think about that and it's like, I'm gonna look this up right now. Sword and Shield DLC release, because when did that come out? June 30th, 2020, or November 30th, 2020. So that was 2 years. 2 years to make an open world Pokemon game. Like, if that is the time frame I'm looking at, that's insanely short amount of time. I mean, like, you can't do that. Like, you just can't do that. That's way too small of amount of time. And it shows. It really does. But I'm not of the believer that after they were done with Arceus, they started working on this game. They were probably being developed in tandem. And I think this is really evident through a lot of choices that are made in this game, because oh my god, they removed so much from Arceus, and it sucks because Arceus had so many good ideas. The biggest thing, and I think everyone said it, it's not a hot take or anything, the fact that you can't just catch Pokemon by throwing the Pokeballs and you have to initiate battle first is such a lame choice. Like, they can do so much. If they don't want you to catch a lot of Pokemon, restrict the amount of Pokeballs you give them. Like, there's so many ways to restrict that kind of thing if they wanted to do it that way, but it's like, it's not really any different than being able to just catch Pokemon by throwing the balls at them. You just have like a few extra steps. You just have to like get into the fight, weaken them, and then catch them. But if you wanted to, you can catch as many as you caught in Arceus. It would just take longer, and it would be a lot more boring because there was all these cool mechanics with like sneaking and hiding in grass and like trying not to get the Pokemon to notice you and everything. All of that is gone. All of that is gone. It is simple, just encounters that are on the map. Might as well be just like markers that say initiate battle when you engage with them. You can even throw your Pokeball and like it makes an animation, but it just sends out your Pokemon, like, and you get like a advantage or something. On top of that, they don't have the display for the turn order. They had that in Arceus, and it was a huge helpful step up. I'm a believer that RPGs are not made harder by a lack of information. They're just made like more annoying, I guess, or like more confusing. It's like, give players the information and you can make some crazy and like some really good RPG mechanic fights. It's like Fire Emblem. That's why I like Fire Emblem so much. Those games are addicting and fun because you are given all of the information you need. It is so specific. The only thing that's up to chance is the RNG, which they tell you the percentage of every encounter. You have every bit of information to know it's about to happen. And it's like, I just don't, like, you do have it in Pokemon if you like really think about it or like count the things, but like, it's just, why not display it? It's just lame. I don't know. They like do other things, like they tell you this, if your move will be super effective. I'm all for that, because at the end of the day, somebody could just like Google it while they're playing and get the same result. And it's not, I don't think it's part of the game's like difficulty is memorizing the weakness and whatever, the effectiveness of your moves. Cat's staring at me. What do you want? No, I'm talking about Pokemon. He was watching me play Pokemon. Yeah, pretty ugly game, right? Yeah, it's lame. I think that's really lame. They should have brought back that display turn thing. It was such a smart idea, and they really should bring it back for the next game. I have a list of stuff. Let's look at my list of grievances I had. So there's a lot of like weird choices they made in terms of like changing the way battles work. Like, for one, you can't turn off like set or switch battles. You can't turn that off and set it to set battles. And what that is in Pokemon is like, after you fight it, when you fight a trainer, when they send out their next Pokemon, it gives you the choice, like, do you want to switch your Pokemon? And you can, but you used to be able to just turn that off, which is like, why remove that? Why remove that choice? I guess you could just like click keep current Pokemon just to keep the thing, but like, I don't know, just kind of was a nice little like sort of harder mode thing. There's like an area of the map that's mostly unused that I thought was really awkward. Like, it's like a big like donut shape, the map, and like the middle is supposed to be some like I don't even know, it's supposed to be like the abyss, and like you kind of go there but not really. It doesn't fill out the map, and so at the end there's just this big vacant area on the map, and I'm like, why was that? Let's see, what else do I have? You can't turn off XP share, which I guess has been a problem for a while, and it's a problem depending on who you ask. Again, believer, more choice is only good thing. Just give people the choice. It's not a big deal. It's like just a line of code in the game. Just turn it off or on. Nobody shouldn't care. It's convenient. I'd probably have it on, but like, why not have that? There's like an achievement goal thing, and it's like so hidden away in that menu. It's like the menus are so sloppy in this game. Double battles are in the game, but they're used like once. I don't know why they even bother. I guess maybe you can do it online or something probably, but it's just like, why even put them in the story? Oh yeah, they added like, shiny Pokemon are in this game. And in Arceus, it was really cool because the Pokemon would be literally like glittering, and it'd make like a noise when you're near, like when a shiny is like in front of you. And it was nice because some of the shinies are very hard to notice, unless you have like a keen eye for it. But they don't do that in Arceus or in Scarlet. The only time you can see it's a shiny is when you initiate battle with them, which for me, not a Pokemon fan, kind of sucked because I probably ran past a ton of shiny Pokemon because I just don't know what the colors of the Pokemon should be. I guess it's an addition. It's like totally a nitpick, I guess. But again, Arceus did something better. Don't know why they had to get rid of that. That's such an easy thing to implement too. I don't know why that's not the case. Really just like weird nitpicky stuff. Like, you can't refight the Elite Four, which is weird. I think you can in other games. I don't know why you can't in this game. You can like sort of refight the gym leaders, but yeah. Yeah, I had like in the because I played the game with my girlfriend, so I knew what the cutscenes were, and I had skipped cutscenes on for like the beginning of the game. It doesn't skip like anything. It like skips like one cutscene. I think it skips pre-rendered cutscenes, but there are like four, maybe three or four pre-rendered cutscenes in the game. I don't get what the hell it's like. Why wouldn't it just skip like dialogue cutscenes too? It's very strange. Why even have the option? If they freaking just have the option to skip the cutscene during the fucking thing. It's just weird. Also, I don't know if I was the only one to notice this, but like they have like the road that leads to the Elite Four, and like usually that's like Victory Road, you know, like the big part where all the trainers there are really hard, and it's like kind of like a gauntlet. They had that kind of. They had a little road that lead to the Champion Road, but all the trainers there were level like 15. I was like, what happened? Like I thought this was supposed to be like endgame stuff. I don't think you can even get in this area without being at the end. Just very strange. Maybe it was like, oh, look how far you've come. You can't. Oh god, this part really annoyed me too. You can't change out of your uniform, which is really annoying because like I feel like Sword and Shield had a lot of customization when it came to your character. And you have like you can like wear different hats and like, you know, you can change your hair and all this stuff, which is another issue I'll get to in a second. But you can't change your uniform. You have to wear the school uniform, which again, this would have been a great opportunity to make it so when you beat the game or you do all the classes, let's just say you do all the classes, just the extra, you took the extra step and you did the extra content. Maybe you unlock the ability to wear some other outfits, like a t-shirt or like a sweatshirt or something, just something to customize your character. You can switch out outfits, like you can switch out like the different styles, like like an autumn season 1 or a winter uniform and stuff, but you can't just, that's it though. It's like, that's so lame. Like, why wouldn't you just add, I get your like school setting, whatever, but then add it to the end of the game, make it so that you reward the players with something cool, like cosmetically. It's like, that's such a fun idea. People forget, especially with games that have an online feature where you can make your own character and you can interact with people. That stuff goes so far. Cosmetic stuff is so fun. And it's like people just, I don't know why companies just like are just skip out on it. Again, because there's like, there are cosmetics in the game. You can wear different hats and sunglasses and backpacks and stuff. Also, really side tangent. Oh my god, the menus in that part are the worst. You have like, they did this in Arceus too, and I don't know why. It's like every outfit is, instead of just having an outfit and you click it and then change the color, every color of the outfit is like its own menu option when you're scrolling down the menu, which makes it seem like there's way more than there is, but it just looks fucking messy. I think it looks like there's less than there is because you're scrolling for so long that you forget what you've seen, so you're like scrolling for like a minute straight through the same costume to get to the next costume, or the hat I guess in this game. Just lame, like really weird. I don't know why they chose to do it like that. Also, really weird nitpick about the hair thing. So certain hairstyles can't wear hats, which I learned because I tried, and it was like, you cannot wear a hat with this hair. But it doesn't tell you before you get the hair. And there's not really any method to it. It's like pretty random. Like there are hairstyles that I thought would be able to wear a hat. Like, you know, it's like, okay, I get it, can conflict with elements of the hair, sure. So I was like, a ponytail probably can't wear a hat with a ponytail because they have to make like the ponytail sticking out of like specific areas. No, you can. It just like removes the ponytail. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. What about the hair that's just like up in a, like kind of like tied up in the back? That should be fine. It's just bangs on the side, like, you know, hair strains on the side and like very like slight bangs. And it's like, nope, you can't wear a hat with that. But the only way to find out is to buy the hair, go to the hat shop, try to put on the hat, and it won't work. You can't find out before getting the hairstyle. That's stupid. Like, who thought that was that's such an oversight. That's what I think a lot of this stuff is. Like, there were so many instances where I was like, did they test this? Like, I have it written down on here. So many wild Pokemon use moves that they shouldn't use. I don't know if this is in other games, but like, I kept seeing Pokemon use like Baton Pass, like wild Pokemon. That serves no purpose in a wild fight. It's like, why do they even give them that move? Like, didn't they check over what the wild Pokemon's movesets are? Like, did they just not bother? It's just so strange. What else do I have on here? That's about it. for that stuff. But the main issue, like I said, mostly it's the stuff they removed from Arceus, so it's really frustrating. But the pacing of the game, as much as I did like elements of it, it's such a weird choice. Like I was saying before, you can do things in any order, like asterisks, like kind of. Because in Pokemon, one big thing is it doesn't let you catch you can catch them, but you can't use Pokemon over a certain level until you've beaten a certain amount of gyms. So if you have a level 50 Pokemon, it takes beating like 4 or 5 gyms to be able to use that Pokemon. Perfectly fine mechanic for like not breaking the game. Like, let's just say you get lucky and catch a really high leveled Pokemon. So that's fine. I get that. But at the same time, with a game that wants you to sequence break, it's pretty shitty when you like get to a new area, work your ass off to try to get to a Pokemon that level, or level up your Pokemon to finally be able to beat that gym that you've been trying to beat, and it just doesn't work because your Pokemon stopped listening to you. Or like, you know, you catch a Pokemon and you're like, I caught it, oh my god, I caught a level 60 Pokemon, this is gonna help me beat this gym, and it's like, it won't listen to you. It's like, well, I guess I gotta go beat the gym they want me to beat. Like, what's the point of giving you the option if it's just going to end up being a similar, like, you know, order anyway? Like, I'm sure people, like I said, I sequence broke a few times, but ultimately the order was similar. Like, I did the shortest, like the smallest level gyms first, the ones I could beat, and then I did the ones I can now beat. Like, you know, it's like I went to a gym I did lose, and I was like, oh, I can't do this yet. Which, again, I think is pretty lame. If you're going to give people the ability to go anywhere they want, I think they should be able to fight whatever gym they want. And that is such an arbitrary, like, just, like, level check at those gyms. And it's like, yeah, you can implement some strategy. Like, you know, it's like if you use... That's something that's cool about Pokemon. If you use, like, the type advantages, you will be at a huge advantage. You do double damage on super effective. Literally... almost making your stats, if your stats are half, you could probably make do if you're playing well enough. And that just, like, that is such a cool idea if you play well and think about it and, like, you know, use the mechanics to your advantage, you can get ahead and, like, you can play out of order, and that's really neat. But it doesn't work when they put, like, you know, stuff like arbitrary... God, like level cap, you know, like you can't catch these Pokemon, whatever. It's pretty lame. I think this game could have benefited from, first of all, being harder. I think the game is really easy already, but if the game was a little harder and also it all scaled with your level, maybe just gyms scaled with your level, even then. It's like everything is numbered, and I think like everything is technically numbered by how hard it is. So you get to an area and suddenly every Pokemon is a higher level. And then suddenly like the gym is that similar level. So you know what level you're anticipating when you get to the gym. I think that stuff should have been like just scaled with your level or with how many gyms you've done or something. So, but it's not even that hard of a concept. It's like, you know, just when you get to this gym, it reads how many gyms you've done and it scales the encounters based on that. And you know what's funny about that is there are things in the game that do that. It almost feels like that was their original plan and they like changed their mind at some point, because after every gym you fight Nimona, she shows up, and that doesn't matter what gym you're at. It's not like her battle in the ice gym is based on the ice gym. When she shows up in the ice gym, that's because you've done 4 gyms before that. And her level is based on the level that you should be at 4 gyms. And she's hard. And she's not easy. And it's fun. And it feels pretty good. And I don't know why the gym leaders aren't like that. I don't know why they chose to do that. I think maybe part of me thinks it might have been a time restraint thing. Like, oh, well, we'll have to basically create 8 versions of everyone's team, which is more time. So it'd probably just be an easier idea to just do it the static way where everyone has their static stats. Could have been more interesting if that wasn't the case. Plus, I think it could have made the late game a little bit more interesting. I did a lot of the late game fights and like battling. It's all really easy. I didn't really lose, especially because Tinkaton is like nuts. She's like the craziest Pokemon, and her moveset's just so good. But it made a lot of encounters super easy, and like I wasn't even over leveled. I was just like, I just feel like my stats were just really good, I guess. And the encounters weren't that like hard to figure out, especially with the switch battle on. It's like, especially like one of the final fights, I won't say who it is, but the character has all the EVs, like all the different types of EVs. And it's like, that's a cool idea for a gym leader. It's not even a gym leader. It's just like, that's a cool idea for a fight. But with switch battle, that's as trivial as ever. You just wait. Oh, Leafeon. All right, switch to the one that has a fire move. Like, oh, like Vaporeon. Okay, switch to the one that has a leaf move. Like, literally, and then you super effective it, and you kill in one hit or two hits, and then you have the like turn advantage when they switch out their Pokemon. So you just do it again and again and again, and it like trivializes the whole thing. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to. You could just press like no, but like most people won't do that, and it would have been a cool option for like, even if it had a little note that was like, this will make the game harder. It's like, do it. Like, yes, there's plenty of people who want to make the game harder. Should have added that. Just saying. It's just, bothers me. But yeah, overall, the pace was weird for that reason. It just felt like it was sort of a rushed idea in some ways. Like, they had a lot of ideas, but then certain elements of those ideas had to be scrapped or simplified. It even goes with the trainer battles. Like, I feel like the trainer battles are pretty lame. A lot of them are pretty simple. There's not a lot of incentive to do them either, besides like money, but like you get plenty of money in the game. You also have 2 currencies in the game. Don't even know why you have that. I still don't really get that. You have 2 currencies. One is, I think, used for the same thing. They might be used for specific things at some point, but like, you get plenty of both, so whatever. But yeah, most things feel like oversights or some kind of like time restraint thing. It was like, oh, well, this was done because I can tell it was done because like it probably saved them time, which is lame and annoying. I don't think anyone's arguing that. But that kind of segues into the final part. Oh, man. This game is not good looking. I talk about this in Arceus too. Arceus was ugly, just straight up ugly, and it was just distracting. It was really distracting. I emulated that game, so I was able to get some more fidelity out of it. This game I played on actual Switch hardware. I know everyone's experience is different. I had 7 game crashes playing through this game. No joke. 7. And some were in very inconvenient spots that I was very frustrated when my game crashed. It was obnoxious. Along with that, it's just not good looking. It's rushed. It's pathetically optimized. It sucks. It really sucks because I genuinely think Pokemon Company is not giving them the resources they need. I think Game Freak maybe it's Game Freak's fault, but I think Game Freak should outsource some of their stuff. Like, they need to get the tech from other people. I saw somebody mention they should get Monolith Studio to do the overworld aspect of the game. That's genius. They have so much good experience doing overworld, like big open worlds on the Switch. They probably know how to optimize it well. But for some reason, they're just like, maybe they're leaving it all up to Pokemon Company or Game Freak. I mean, maybe they have somebody, but whoever they're hiring is not doing a good job. But a lot of people think like, oh, these guys are used to making 2D games. Like, bullshit. They've been working on this stuff for way too long to still be like stuck in that mindset. If they haven't learned to to optimize 3D games by now, it's like, it's been way too long. Like, they have to learn that, or they have to hire people that know that. It's not an excuse. It's like, that's a joke. It's not good. And it translates to everything. Like, every little thing in the game feels rushed and sloppy and like awkward. Like, I think that's a good way to put it. It's like, moving around feels awkward. The pop-in feels awkward. The way the animation, the way the battles like transition and everything feels really awkward. Even like just like little things. Like, I noticed this so many times in the game. They mistimed their fade out on transitions. So in a game, usually the reason you'll fade out is because there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes. When it fades to black, it has to like load in a new area, it has to position all the characters and actors, and like there's so much shit that happens in that fade out. Usually you don't see that stuff happen until it's completely black. For some reason, Pokemon, the last, they mistimed it, so you see the transition for like a frame or two. And like it's so distracting. And one of the first cutscenes in the game, when it transitions to like it fades to black, you see all the characters T-pose for like a split second. And then when you trade Pokemon, it's so noticeable to me. When you do like a Wonder Trade, when the Pokemon gets to you, it's like, congrats, you got this Pokemon, and then it fades to black. The last frame, it like zooms into the Pokemon's face, like while it's almost completely black on your screen. And it is so jarring and like almost like terrifying sometimes. I don't get it. It probably won't even come up if I tried to record it, because it's just like, it's more noticeable like on the Switch screen. But it's like just like a little thing. It's like, how do they not notice that? Like they have like QA testers and shit for this reason, right? Like I'm not doing these people's jobs. Like there are people who are way more thorough than I am at this stuff, but like I'm just a casual player and I notice so much of this stuff. It's just like all really janky, and it sucks because it's like, it's Pokemon. It should have more polish than any other game ever. And I know this is like a moot point somewhat, because a lot of people say this, and there are more factors that go into it than just this, but I will say Pokemon is the top selling media franchise of all time. That isn't like a little like, oh, that's, but like they still have people, these are still people working on this. The point is they have a lot of money to work with. And to me, it's frustrating because I get that Pokemon Company is split up into a bunch of different like factions basically. And like when you look at this chart of how much money Pokemon makes from its different categories, merchandise is far beyond anything else. Games is a fraction of the money they make based on merchandise. So like games don't have the allocated money because it doesn't matter, because like the games will come out and people will play them, but people will still buy. It's the cute characters that people give a shit about. It's like, all the other stuff, which I'm guilty of. I have plush toys of Pokemon, and I have like I have a great plush toy of Rosa from Pokemon Black and White 2. I'm just saying, she's really cute. It's like one of my favorite plush toys I own. But anyway, the point is, the games are not their top priority, even though that's the origin, like that's why people technically are there. But it doesn't matter to them. Like, at the end of the day, the games will sell because it's Pokemon, and they will allocate the money they want to those games while still lining their pockets. And it shows. And you know what? We all are guilty of it, because at the end of the day, this game is the best-selling or fastest selling Pokemon game. I bought it. My girlfriend bought it. A lot of my friends bought it. And I mean, who's to blame at that point? But that's the tough part about stuff like this. Like I was gonna say, do I recommend this game? Kind of. Like, I recommend it to a point, because it's like, I get it. I recommend it to people. It depends on what you care about, I guess, because it's like, it's a good game. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I think it's worth it, kind of. It might be worth less money. I'm like a stickler when it comes to the price of video games and what they're worth. But it's probably worth it for most Pokemon fans. Even people who might have been a little sour on Pokemon recently, it's a pretty damn good Pokemon game. Just like overall. It's got a good story, got good Pokemon, got a good world, yada, yada, yada. But like on principle, if you care, maybe you shouldn't buy this game. Because like this is so many steps backwards. And every time Pokemon's been making games, people have been complaining about that. How many people I heard complain about Sword and Shield and how just it was poorly optimized and there were so many steps backwards and people didn't understand why they did this. The post game was like non-existent and it felt lazy and everything. And it's like, is that not the same thing we're saying again with Scarlet, just for different reasons? And it's like, I'm saying Scarlet and Violet, whatever. But it's like, if you want it to be better, then maybe you shouldn't buy it. Like, maybe you should wait. Maybe you should buy it used. on like, you know, eBay or something. Maybe you should like, you know, don't support it if you don't like the decisions they make. And I don't either. And I did support it. And I kind of regret it in a way. It's like, maybe I should have just emulated this game. I should have probably just waited. Because I wanted it because of the online features. I also wanted it because I was away and I wanted to play it on my Switch. I don't regret that aspect. But part of me is like, I probably should have just waited and emulated it. Like, I really don't appreciate what they're doing. And like, I don't like the fact that it's doing so well. And I'm part of the blame for that. So it's like, if you're on the fence about this game and you don't know if you want it, like, think about your principles, because it is important. I think it's stupid to think like, well, it sold well. Oh, I don't think it's stupid. I get it. Like, it sold well anyway. Like, you know, whatever. Like, you're only like one sale. It's like, that's fair. Like, if you want to play it, you want to play it. Like, don't worry about that too much. But if you care enough to not support it, don't be afraid to not support it. Like, it's important to speak with our wallets in these scenarios, and people don't. And like, I don't, and I'm guilty of that. And again, like I said, I kind of regret it, and it sucks. But yeah, it's kind of it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else I want to talk about. Lots of glitches, funny glitches you can look up online, yada yada. There's some really funny glitches. I won't lie. I'm not like usually like a person who loves that stuff, but some of them are just so fucking stupid. It's hilarious. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this Pokemon game. I'd like to say it's a step in the right direction, but I've been saying that for way too long with Pokemon. I think it's a step in the wrong direction in way more ways than the right direction. And I think that's telling, because I think that should not be the case for any game series. But yeah, let me know what you think. My throat hurts from talking. This is a longer video than I anticipated, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was good background noise. I hope you enjoy the new kind of similar style format. Also, I do really appreciate, I've gained like a ton of followers because of my newest video. I try to do some candid talking about my stuff in these videos too, by the way. I've gained like 200, 300 followers, which is a huge plus for me. I don't really, I don't want to say I don't take this stuff seriously, but I'm not like a grind set YouTuber. I'm just doing this for fun. So it really does mean a lot that so many people are enjoying my video. I know the last video I made was a little controversial, but I'm going to try to keep my videos more positive, especially my more scripted ones. That was me just kind of speaking my mind about something that was frustrating me. I do appreciate everyone watching that video and liking it and subscribing. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is like was a fun listen. I do a lot of the videos like this often. I haven't recently because I don't want to muddy my channel too much with like nonsense content. I wanted like more scripted content, but I think this works to just kind of bridge the gap between scripted videos. So every once in a while you'll get one of these that's just a long form talking video about something, and then every once in a while you'll get a scripted video. Does that work? I'm working on 2 or 3 scripted videos right now. Just a mix of getting footage, getting scripts made up. The one that I'm making right now is more or less done. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's on the way. It should be done soon, but I'm going to schedule it to be uploaded on a specific day. It's about an anime that is airing currently, and it's going to be ending, and I'm very excited because I want to talk about my experiences with it. But anyway, that's my hint. I'm sure you know what it is if you know if you know anything about current anime. But yeah, thanks for listening. Until next time, I hope you all have a good day, night, morning, whatever time you watch this. Anyway, okay, bye.